Good morning, everybody, or good evening, depending on where you're from.
Welcome to our live Q&A about internet options for Japan travel. I'm Heidi.
I'm George, and today we're going to be talking about pocket Wi-Fi SIMs and eSIMs. We are a long-term traveling family. We've been going to Japan as a couple for over 20 years now, and every time we go, we're always renting one of these guys, a pocket Wi-Fi. And then when SIM cards became available, we started renting SIMs as well, and more recently eSIMs. So we have a ton of experience renting all kinds of devices to make sure we have internet.
You have an echo back. Turn off your volume.
We might.
There, did that
Oh,
fix the echo?
sorry, we may have had an echo.
Okay, so he's going to start out with a basic explanation of everything, and then after that, we'll take your questions. So I'm going to scoot off to the side. I'll be in the background just watching for your questions to come in.
And please let me know if there is any echo or any sound issues as well. All right, so how do you choose between these options of a pocket Wi-Fi, SIM, eSIM, or a cell phone provider? Well, it really depends on first on whether or not your phone is unlocked. Your phone has to be unlocked in order to use an eSIM or a SIM. So the first thing you want to do is check, did you purchase your cell phone from a store like Amazon, Google, or Apple? If you did, then your phone is almost for sure unlocked. If you purchased it from your cell phone provider, then it could be locked or it could be unlocked depending on where you're located. So if you're unsure, ask your cell phone provider. They'll know. And then if it's locked, ask them if they can unlock it. There's a good chance they will. And if they won't, then you have two options. That is to continue using your cell phone provider. And the pros of that is you won't need to rent anything. And you will be able to receive SMS messages in Japan. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The cons, they're usually more expensive, and you probably aren't get a large enough data allotment. It's probably more limited than what you can get if you rented something in Japan. And you might have roaming charges. So here are some really important things to check. Check if they have an international plan. If they don't, then just cross it off the list. Then make sure there's no roaming charges, because if there are, then that could, result in some really scary fees that you aren't going to be happy with if you find that later. And then how much is the data allotment? Is it going to be enough for you? Sometimes it's only 10 or 5 gigabytes, and that may be enough for you. So, you have to think about that. Then what is the cost? And then what I would do is I would compare that against some of the plans that are available in Japan. Next is a pocket Wi-Fi. So the great things about pocket Wi-Fis is your phone can be locked. Anybody can use them. They're really easy to use. Just think of them as they're just like your router at home. All you do is choose the ID and enter the password, and they're usually either written with a piece of tape on the device, or if you turn the device on, here, let me just show you mine real quick. There is right here, I don't know if you can see this, but you can select the QR code that's on it. So if I clicked on this, there's a QR code, and if you scan that QR code, your device will be connected right away, if your device can do that, and most can these days. So that's really nice, and that's one of the things I really love about these things. Another good thing is that the data allotments are usually a lot larger. A lot of the companies will claim to be unlimited. We'll discuss what that means a little bit later on. But then usually you'll get at least 100 gigabytes per month, which for most people, that's going to be plenty. And as I mentioned earlier, also, they're very cost effective compared to all of the other types of devices. And you can share your internet. So this is the best out of eSIM, SIMs, or pocket Wi-Fi's. These are the best for sharing your internet. You're going to have the strongest connection and the most consistent internet as well. And you won't have any device compatibility issues. Whereas if you're trying to install a SIM or eSIM, there is a possibility it may not work with your device. Whereas with the pocket Wi-Fi, it doesn't matter. As long as your tablet or your phone or whatever you're trying to connect to it has Wi-Fi, it will work. And then again, in general, the consistency of the internet is very, very good. Of course, with everything, there are some cons. You must be near the device at all times for it to work. So if you're a group or you're a family and you're out and about and someone separates from the group, as long as they're like 10, 20 feet away, guess what? You're disconnected. Well, maybe a little bit farther. So take that into consideration. If you need to be in different places, then consider either getting 2 or more pocket Wi-Fis, or maybe get a pocket Wi-Fi and a SIM or eSIM, which is usually what we do. Also, you got to carry the device around. The good thing is that these things are pretty light and they're pretty compact, and mine right here is really thin. So I just stick this in my pocket and I don't even know it's there, or I just throw it in my backpack. The other thing is that the batteries on these aren't so great. At least I don't think so. Usually between 6 and 8 hours a day. It depends on the weather usually. Like if it's really cold or really hot, it tends to use up the battery faster. And also if a lot of people are connected to it, then the battery is going to drain quicker too. So make sure you carry a power bank. In fact, I would say that's an absolute must if you're going to have a pocket Wi-Fi, or just in general, make sure you have a power bank, even if you're using a SIM or eSIM. So let's talk about eSIMs. The pros of eSIMs is that you no longer need to stick a physical SIM card into your phone, which is really, really nice. They're really easy to activate. All you need to do is scan a QR code, and if you have problems scanning a QR code, a lot of people are concerned about this because they're concerned that they're not going to have internet, because you need internet. And so I'm kind of going off a topic here. Just do it when you arrive in the airport, because the airports will have Wi-Fi. And if your QR code's not working, you can also enter it manually by entering a code. So it's pretty easy in general. Another good thing is that there's something called dual SIM functionality. So if you have a SIM, if you have an eSIM, that means you are going to be able to use at least 2 at a time, unless you have a really older device. So for instance, on my phone right now, I have my GoogleFi eSIM as well as my local eSIM. We're in Malaysia right now, so I have that going on as well. So the way I have it set is the GoogleFi one is only set to use to receive calls from the United States and to receive SMS messages. It is not for data. So if you have a phone that has an eSIM, you can set it so you can still use your home carrier, but turn off your data. That means, so when you come to Japan and if you rented an eSIM, all the data would go through that eSIM that you rented for Japan, and you wouldn't have to worry about your home one, where you'd still be able to make calls and receive text messages. So that's a really nice feature. Also, they're really flexible and scalable, meaning you can have multiple eSIMs on there. So with the iPhone, I don't know how many you have. I think you can have at least 8. At any one given time, I have 4 or 5 eSIMs on my phone. And so what that allows me to do is to easily switch. So for instance, when we're in Japan, I'm testing multiple eSIMs. I'll have Sakura Mobile, Japan Wireless, Ninja Wi-Fi, as well as my GoogleFi one, and some other ones that I'm just testing. And I can easily switch between the other. The really great thing about this is if you have an internet connection problem, we're going to go more of this in detail, is you can easily switch between one from the other. So again, by having multiple eSIMs, it's really nice. You may not need that feature, but it is a really nice thing to know that it's there. And with the eSIMs, you can get some eSIMs that allow you to get global plans. This is also really nice if you're going to be traveling to more than one country. So if you're coming to Japan, and let's say you're also going to Korea or Thailand or Malaysia or any of these other places, they have certain global plans that will cover all these areas. We'll discuss that a little bit more in a little bit later. And also, you can share your internet too, which means you can tether with your phone too, just like with the pocket Wi-Fis. However, in general, they are not as good as using a pocket Wi-Fi for tethering. And the main reason is that your phone can get really hot sometimes, and it's usually not as fast. But in a pinch, it works great. The cons, your device obviously needs to support eSIMs. So these are only the newer phones that are going to have them. And your phone must be locked. It must be unlocked, and sometimes it can be difficult to activate if you've never done this before. I can understand that, yes, it can be very confusing, but I actually have a video that walks through the process of it to hopefully help you with that, and just let us know if you guys have questions on that, because it can be confusing at first, but once you get the hang of it, you'll see that it's actually really easy to do. And also, with some of the carriers, especially the global carriers, so if you're renting from someone like Airlo or Olafly or some of these newer players out there, they have very limited plans. Whereas if you purchase the ones from Japan, you can have a lot more availability. So take that into consideration. Okay, physical SIMs. These are a dying breed. I've been talking to some of the carriers here in Japan, and they say that, the difference is almost 90-10 now, that almost 90% of the people are renting eSIMs versus SIM cards. So, but physical SIMs are still perfectly good. They're very easy to activate as well, and you can easily swap out your SIM cards and share your internet too. The cons are your phone, just like with an eSIM, it must be unlocked. There are not as many data options for regular physical SIMs, and you can easily lose your SIM card, because when you have a physical SIM card, unless you have a dual SIM physical SIM, you're going to have to pop it out and replace it with your other one. So what I used to do is I used to to take off the back of my cover and tape all my physical SIMs on the back of this cover and then put it back on so I won't lose them. Because I mean, if you lose your home one, that's going to be kind of bad, right? So don't lose your physical SIMs. So I would say that is a major con of using physical SIMs today. Okay, so what about Japanese number? A lot of people have been asking if they can get a Japanese number now, and there's actually only one company that I know of that offers the ability to get a Japanese number for short-term travelers, and that is mobile. So why would you need a Japanese number? For instance, if you want to make reservations to restaurants or cafes, it is very common that they're going to ask you for a Japanese phone number. They're not going to want your international number because they want to be able to call you or text you to make sure, just in case you aren't showing up or for some type of confirmation. And sometimes you will need to receive local calls. That's the main reason why we get it, because we receive a lot of packages where we're staying, and sometimes they need to call us to confirm. And so that is also really helpful. And also another one is for two-factor authentication. Some of the applications that you install, such as the Go app, is going to require two-factor authentication where they want to send you an SMS text message to your Japanese number. And if that is the case, you're going to need you're going to need a Japanese number in order to receive that. And finally, a lot of people get them just for an extra level of security. In Japan, there are...
Sorry, the Go app, you could use your home phone number if you had it still active.
That's true. Heidi's correct. Let me just back up for a second. With the Go app, you could use your home phone number if it is active and you are in Japan. So you can use it. It's just that most people aren't. So if you aren't, then this is where the Japanese number comes in handy. And the final thing is that it's just an extra level of security, especially recently. Japan has had a lot of earthquakes. A lot of people like to have that for that reason, to be able to have that security to call, because in general, when there is an earthquake, even a large one, cell phones usually work. Okay. So what are the Japanese networks? This is a really big question that we get, that a lot of people are going to rural areas. And because of that, you should know what are the networks. And there are three major ones: NTT Docomo, SoftBank, and KDDI, which is also known as AU. NTT Docomo is the largest carrier. However, they're all pretty big. So I just want to show you really quickly, like the coverage area of some of NTT Docomo's, so you can get an idea. All right. What you're seeing here is Hokkaido, and this, where you're seeing all these green icons, this is 5G. Okay, now unfortunately, you're probably not going to get 5G. You're only guaranteed 4G LTE. So where you see these yellow areas, this is all 4G LTE area within Japan. And I'm showing you Hokkaido in general because it's very rural in a lot of places, but yet you can see that there's still pretty good coverage here. So this area here is Sapporo, so this is a very big city. Here, Asahikawa, and this is the Furano area. And over here, this is Shiretoko. A lot of people are going here because this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And even here, you can get coverage in certain areas. So in general, there is really good coverage. And this blue area, by the way, means that you can probably get 4G area if you are on a cruise ship and they're hugging the coast. You can probably get coverage along this area as well. But if we scroll down through this map, you can see that even here in the Tohoku region here, this is Aomori up here, there's really good coverage. And most of these places that are like this darker green, this is where there's no coverage, but the chances are you're not going to be in these areas. So I think in general, for the most part, you will always have coverage. We personally have never lost coverage wherever we are. So if this is a concern of yours, then what we recommend you do is actually get 2 different SIM cards, or a pocket Wi-Fi in a SIM card, and use different networks. Let me show you that now. Sorry. What's going on here? Okay, sorry. Oops. So if you're going to be in rural areas, yes, I recommend getting NTT Docomo. But if you really need to connect it, you should consider getting another device, either an eSIM, SIM, or a pocket Wi-Fi that uses one of the other networks, such as SoftBank or KDDI. This is just going to give you a lot more coverage area, because they, while they overlap a lot, they're also going to cover some of the areas where NTT Docomo is not going to. So this is no 100% guarantee that you will be covered, but by using this method, we've never, did not have internet wherever we were. Okay, so again, because of that, we always rent both a pocket Wi-Fi and an eSIM. Yes, it's probably overboard for most people, but we always do this, okay? Because it does give us a lot of flexibility.
Also want to separate, that's why.
Oh yes, and also because, we're a family and we have kids and we separate a lot, we always rent both of that, for that matter too, a pocket Wi-Fi and an eSIM. Now, let's talk about data, because you're going to see this really common pretty much with everybody. They're going to say unlimited data. So it's not what you think it is, because when you think of unlimited data, you're thinking that you're going to have unlimited speed. Well, that's not what that means. What it means is that you will have data, but it could be at a crawl speed like in 1990s dial-up. So this applies to pocket Wi-Fis, eSIMs, SIMs. And the reason why is because that none of these companies, okay, these are MVNOs, which means they're mobile virtual network operators. They don't own the network. They don't own KDDI. They don't own SoftBank. They don't own Docomo. And because of that, they are renting space from these companies. So of course, these networks aren't going to give you unlimited data. They're going to throttle you if you're using too much data. And that is what a fair usage policy is. Or there's something called a data limit as well. So what is a fair usage policy exactly? A fair usage policy is like a rule that helps ensure everyone gets their fair share amount of internet without one person using it all up. So if you use too much data, they're going to throttle you, which means they're going to slow your speed down. And usually it is to speeds, between 200 kilobits and to as high as 384 kilobits, which again, to me, is like a 1990 speed. You'll be able to check email, but you're probably not going to be able to do much more than that. Yeah, I kind of messed up. Sorry, that's kind of, let me fix that slide for you guys real quick.
No, it's just that you messed up. See how there's this up here? It's not in the screen correct anymore.
Did I move that? It seems it's fine now. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. As far as when are you going to get your high-speed data back, usually with a pocket Wi-Fi, it usually resets at around midnight, and then by the next day, so at that time you get your full speed back. With eSIMs, sometimes it can take longer, especially with these international ones. I've heard of WiFi taking 3-4 days or not even getting it back at all. So really take that into consideration. WiFi is pushing unlimited data like crazy, and really to me that is just terrible marketing, because they're tricking you, thinking that you're going to get really fast speed all the time, but you're not, because you're going to hit a fair usage policy at some point, and when that happens, boom, you're just going to be like, hey, what happened to my data? Well, it's because yes, you are guaranteed data, unlimited data, but not guaranteed an unlimited fast speed. And again, this is with every single MVNO. The only time you are ever going to get true unlimited fast speed data is if you actually purchase directly through the network. Okay, so the next one is data limit. Some of them have data limits, and this is a little bit better, because a data limit means you purchase a specific amount of data, and this can be per day or even per month. And in many cases, the FPU, which is the fair usage policy, will apply, but you are guaranteed a certain amount of data per month. And it varies between pocket Wi-Fis and eSIMs. So for instance, with Ninja Wi-Fi, they have guaranteed high-speed limits. For instance, 3 gigabytes, 5 gigabytes, and 10 gigabytes per day. You are guaranteed that amount of data at high speed. They're the only company I know that guarantees those larger amounts between 5 and 10. So if you need that, Ninja Wi-Fi is great for that. Now, with the eSIMs, mobile, they have a 50 gigabyte plan as well as a 100 gigabyte plan, which is the largest one that I know of right now. And according to mobile, you could actually use 50 gigs in one day or 100 gigs in one day. I don't know how that's possible. I mean, I suppose if you were streaming the entire day, you could probably use it up. But once you use your allotment, then your speed would slow down to whatever their their fair usage policy is set to, or whatever their policy is set to, which I think with mobile it is 384 kilobits per second after you reach that. But the chances are you're not going to do that, right? I mean, I think that's almost impossible to do. Okay, so enough about unlimited data. So again, yeah, just remember that unlimited data is not unlimited high speed. It just means you will always have data, but it might be at a much slower speed. So why would you want to choose a pocket Wi-Fi? So for power users like us and who need a lot of data to work online, it is a really good idea to have a pocket Wi-Fi because it's just easier to work off of versus using your eSIM on your phone. Your phone, if you're using a lot of data on your phone's going to get hot. It's going to lose a lot of your battery. And at least from all of our testing over the last couple of years with eSIMs for using them, sharing our internet, it's just nowhere near the speed as with a pocket Wi-Fi. And if you want to stream movies a lot also, pocket Wi-Fi is the best for that. If you have a family, definitely pocket Wi-Fi. And the good thing is your phone can be unlocked. And again, also historically, this is the most popular option for tourists, and that's probably because they've been around for a really long time, and they're just very reliable in general. Okay, so why would you choose an eSIM? First of all, your phone is unlocked, and your phone is eSIM capable, and you just don't want to carry around another device. So this is really great, for like if you're independent, you're single, and you don't need a whole lot of internet in general. You just want to be able to check maps, post some pictures on Facebook or what have you like that, then an eSIM is perfect for that. And also they have options again, if you want to travel to multiple countries, you can get global plans. And if you need a Japanese number, you can get it with an eSIM as well. So why would you choose a physical SIM? Well, again, if your phone is unlocked and if your phone is not eSIM capable. In general, this is a dying breed. You can still get them, but
if your phone is locked. No, unlocked. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm wrong. Sorry.
So yeah, your phone has to be unlocked and your phone is not eSIM capable. Otherwise, I would just get an eSIM because they're just a lot more flexible. But if you are more comfortable getting a physical SIM, then you can certainly do that. And by the way, you can rent pocket Wi-Fis, eSIMs, and SIMs directly at the airports if you choose. We just don't recommend that because we think you should do your research ahead of time. Whereas if you just show up, you're tired, and then you got these salespeople who are going to try to sell you something that they want to sell you. That's just my opinion on that. Okay. Next, which pocket Wi-Fi should I get? So we have a recommendation list that we created. It's kind of like a cheat sheet that goes over, that has all the details of pricing for different carriers, as well as their networks and why we prefer them. So that is in the description box. Heidi will also put a link in the chat box so you can download that. You might find that helpful. But personally, we recommend Japan Wireless, Sakura Mobile, Ninja Wi-Fi, and Mobile. So 4 different carriers we recommend. We've tested a bunch, and these are our 4 favorites. So, and we also have a video explaining the details on that, so please check that out as well. But let's go ahead and discuss a little bit about it right now. So best for most users, I believe, is Japan Wireless because they have the best overall price and they come with a power bank. They're the only ones that come with a power bank, which I think is absolutely a must when you're visiting Japan because you're going to go through your data. I mean, your power banks is just going to, they just don't last. It's like I said, between 6 and 8 hours a day, and most of us are out longer than that. So make sure you charge it every single night and make sure you charge your power bank and bring that, and then you're golden. You'll never have a problem. So it's perfect. And it's a little tiny power bank like this, which is all you need. And as far as coverage, very good coverage. We generally did not have any problems. The only problem we ever had was when we first rented it. We were having some issues with it, but I contacted customer support and they sent me a new one in 2 days. So that was really nice. Their network is SoftBank, which is one of the large 3 ones. And while they have a fair usage policy, so on their website, they claim unlimited data. But again, like I said, there's no such thing. Our speed was actually never throttled. Of course, we didn't push it a lot. We didn't, we were going over which is usually about 3 gigs is usually the limit where they will start throttling you. We were usually around that amount and we never hit that fair usage policy. So that's a nice plus. Best for users of over 45 days is Sakura Mobile. They are a very solid choice. We used them extensively for a very long period of time because we had such good luck with them. The speed was always really good, and their network is NTT Docomo. And with them, I really tested them. I really wanted to hit the fair usage policy. So we were constantly using 5, 6, 7, even as much as 8 gigabytes, and we still never hit the fair usage policy with them. So that's, I gotta say that because of that, I really like Sakura Mobile. Best for power users is Ninja Wi-Fi, again, because they have dedicated 3 gigs, 5 gigs, and 10 gigs of high-speed data per day. No other provider that I know of offers this. So if you need that, you need to have this, 5 or 10 gigs per day, then Ninja Wi-Fi is the way to go. Their network is SoftBank. The one thing to consideration is that we frequently hit the fair usage policy. So once we hit our limit, we were frequently hitting that fair usage policy, and it would reset around 11 or 12 p.m. that night. Only good thing is that they're currently on sale. I believe they have a 20% discount right now as of June 2024. Okay, what about owning your pocket Wi-Fi? If you want to own your pocket Wi-Fi, you can do that too. So mobile they have a new pocket Wi-Fi, and you have to rent it for a minimum of 3 months. But once you do that, you own this device. So this is really, really awesome if you were a frequent traveler and, international traveler, and you want to have your own pocket Wi-Fi. After 90 days, you own this device. Overall, the connection, it was excellent. However, we did have some speed issues at some times. But granted, we were in a lot of remote places in Hokkaido, mainly when I was testing mobile's device. So, once we were in cities, it did work faster. What's cool about their networks is they take advantage of all three. So depending on, wherever has the strongest connection, it will switch between SoftBank, NTT Docomo, and au. You get a 100 gigabyte dedicated allotment per month. However, there is a fair usage in place, which means that they can throttle you if you are using a lot of data per day. They are, being a long-term pocket Wi-Fi, it is the cheapest after initial fees. You have to pay initial fee of, I think, 6,980 yen, but I think that's actually because you're buying the pocket Wi-Fi as a partially payment for it. But after that, the monthly fees are something like a little over 4,000 yen per month, which is really, really, really cheap. And another great thing about mobile is they donate a majority of their profits to charity, which is really awesome. You can check out their website. They have a really good PDF about how they do that and are donating for that. So it's fantastic. Best eSIMs for most is Japan Wireless and Sakura Mobile. Japan Wireless, they have, again, the lowest price for short-term users, which is up to 2 weeks. Sakura Mobile is the lowest price if you're renting for a month or longer. And both of them have excellent coverage, and the speed is very consistent. And, no wonder they're using the NTT Docomo network. And so the reason why I think their speed is consistent is, it's an eSIM. So if it's on your phone and they're using the same network, you're probably going to get the same speed, which was the case. I mean, I tested speed tests with them constantly over, several days in different places within Tokyo as well as Hokkaido, and it was always very consistent. Now, a lot of these companies are going to say that your top speed is like 180 megabits per second. We've never reached anything like that. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe it's not that high, but it's more like in the range of 20 to 40 megabits per second is what you're normally going to get when you're using an eSIM. And compared to a pocket Wi-Fi, we can get anywhere from 20 to 100. So the pocket Wi-Fi, those are the ones that are usually promoting that you can get to like 180 megabits per second, not eSIMs. So again, pocket Wi-Fis in general are faster. And also with Japan Wireless, they have both unlimited and fixed plans, which means with unlimited, you buy a certain large allotment for a month, and then it resets every day. And whereas fixed plans, you can purchase, like a week, 2 weeks, or any day amount and get a certain amount of data. And that's the same with Sakura Mobile as well. Best eSIM for long-term and power users is mobile. They have up to 100 gigabyte per month plan. I don't know, again, of any other carrier that offers this huge amount. And for the price, I think it's an excellent deal. And they also offer a 50 gigabyte one too. Again, at 50 and their 100 gigabyte plan, I don't know of anybody that has that type of coverage for this price. They also use the NTT Docomo network. So again, since it's an eSIM, the speeds with all of these are all about the same. Very good. And one of the really good things about mobile too is that their support is just excellent all around. Really, really good customer support. Even though it's only by email, It's in English and they respond pretty quickly. And actually, both Sakura Mobile and Japan Wireless 2 also very good customer support. So the best eSIM with a Japanese number is again going to be mobile because they are the only one that I know that offers this for short-term travelers. The network is NTT Docomo. However, do note that these plans only have 7 gigabytes of data per month. However, it resets at the beginning of each month. So if you're like halfway through a month, like halfway through June, and you're renting halfway through July, you'll actually be allotted 14 gigabytes since it resets at the beginning of each month. So take that into consideration too. Oh, and also with eSIMs, because of Japanese law, ID verification is required. So that means when you purchase an eSIM, you're not going to get an instant confirmation with your QR code. Unfortunately, there's 2 ways that they verify this. One is you upload your ID, like your driver's license or something, and then they're going to physically mail you your activation code. Or the better option, I think, is just to pick up your activation code when you arrive in Japan. So you arrive at the airport, you show your ID, and they give you your activation code. All right. Global eSIMs. We use both UBiggy and Airlo, and the main reason is that they have plans, international plans for either globally or Asia plans. So for example, South Korea, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, as well as Japan. These are the ones that we usually get. We've tested them, in Japan, Thailand, and Malaysia, and it's worked really well. And again, they're using really good networks. NTT Docomo for UBiggy, and Airlo uses KDDI. We've never had any issues with these. Maybe sometimes it was a little bit slower, but in general, it worked really well. The one downside of these global eSIM, or I would call them international companies, meaning companies not based in Japan, is that they have fewer plan sizes. So you have less to choose from. If you want a lot more options, then definitely go with one of the Japanese companies. Also, with UBiggy and Airlo, you can share your internet. Some of the other companies don't offer shared connectivity, which means you can't connect multiple devices. So please check that if you are looking at international plans. With the Japanese companies, that's never a problem. They always allow tethering, which means you can share your device, share it to multiple devices. Okay, physical eSIMs, again, we recommend mobile, partially because they're the only ones we've ever used. They use 2 networks, SoftBank and NTT Docomo, and their plans range between 25 gigabytes or 50 gigabytes per month between 8 and 31 days. Our experience with them has also been very good. Okay, but that doesn't say that these other companies like Japan Wireless and Sakura Mobile aren't any good. We just haven't tested them because our phones are eSIM only now, and we didn't get a chance to use them. But I wouldn't hesitate to rent from them as well, because both Japan Wireless and Sakura Mobile are also really good companies that we've always had really good success with, and also very good customer support. Okay, I think that was the end of the slides there. Let's go ahead and open it up to questions.
Can you ask people to put their questions?
So go ahead and, if you haven't already, put your questions in the chat box. We're going to pull one up right now. Okay, in your experience, how common is it to have to make reservations needing a number for it? Very, very common. Very common. In fact, almost every single time they ask for a phone number. If you, especially, huh?
Give an example.
So for instance, we eat at a lot of like specialty cafes, for instance, like the Kirby Cafe or Pokemon Cafe. You have to have a local number in order to make a reservation. Now, sometimes you can cheat. If they have a website where you can make a reservation, just go ahead and enter your US number if that's what you have. Chances are they're not going to call you. You just have to enter one. But if you physically call like a restaurant or something, the chances are they're going to ask you for a phone number. Do you have a discount code for Sakura Mobile? Unfortunately, no. I just asked them this the other day if they would give us a coupon code, and they said they're currently not offering any type of coupon codes. Sorry. What do you mean phone will be locked when using pocket Wi-Fi? Your phone can be locked. Sorry for any confusion on that.
Your phone is either locked or unlocked.
Yeah, so your phone is either locked or unlocked, but when using a pocket Wi-Fi, it doesn't matter. It will work whether or not your phone is locked or unlocked. Hello, for solo traveler 5-day travel between Osaka and Kyoto, bamboo sightseeing area, would you recommend using GoogleFi on iPhone 7 unlocked in USA for data, only pair with iPad for hotspot? It will certainly work. We've definitely used GoogleFi all over Japan. I don't know exactly about the bamboo area, though if you're talking about near Arashiyama, I'm sure there's towers out there. We've never had any problem with any connections, so I think it will work fine. Does UBE have an eSIM plan that works in both Japan and Singapore? That is a very good question. I do not know. Let's check. I thought I had that open. I guess I don't. Just 1 second here, guys. So I'm just going to go ahead and check Singapore, and then this is going to show me whether or not they have an international plan that covers both for Asia. Let's see. Let's just click on this one here. Coverage. Yes. So they do have ones that covers pretty much all of Asia. As you can see, all of these countries here that are listed. So yes, they do. Is insurance good plan good to have? That is definitely, I would say, a personal preference. We personally never rented the insurance just because it's really expensive, and luckily, we've never lost a device or had it.
We lost the charging cable.
Oh, I take it back. We did lose a charging cable, but they didn't care. They didn't dock us for that. So personal preference.
Maybe say how you do have to return the pocket Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but of course, obviously, you do have to return your pocket Wi-Fi. They make it really easy. It comes with the packaging. And that all you have to do is either drop it in the mailbox or hand it over to the office in the airport if you prefer to do that. Which pocket Wi-Fi works best at Disney Sea? Well, we've tried two different ones. We've tried both the Sakura Mobile and what was the other one? Japan Wireless. Japan Wireless. And they both worked. However, with both of the devices, in not necessarily Disney Sea, but in the Disneyland area, sometimes it would disconnect. So there's something in that area that's causing some type of issue. I don't know what it is, but all we did is just move to a different location and we'd get our connection back. Do I need a Wi-Fi and eSIM? How does Wi-Fi work with an eSIM? If you're referring to a pocket Wi-Fi and an eSIM, no, you don't necessarily need both. We always get both just for extra security because we always need to be online and because we have kids, and as often we also separate. So instead of getting two pocket Wi-Fis, we always have an eSIM and a pocket Wi-Fi. Again, that's for a family. You could just get two eSIMs as well, you know, if you're a couple and you just want to be separate.
But
otherwise,
one individual eSIM is fine.
Yes, otherwise one individual eSIM for one person can be fine. How does GoogleFi compare to other eSIMs in data allotment pricing and overall service? I think it's US based, so will I be able to make phone calls? If you are in the United States, then you can get GoogleFi. We have used GoogleFi extensively until they cut our data off eventually, which they will do if you're abroad for like over, I think, a 6-month period of time. In our experience, it has been excellent. Very, very good service. But as far as data allotment, it is expensive. 1 gig is $10. So every time you use a gig, you're going to spend $10 until you hit $100. And after that, they won't charge you any more for that. But it's quite expensive when you compare it to using something like a pocket Wi-Fi. The good thing about GoogleFi is that you will be able to use SMS and receive text messages, which is great if you need to do two-factor authentication, again, for using apps like the Go app. How do these pocket Wi-Fi and eSIM options compare to US carriers like Verizon international plans in Japan? Honestly, I don't know because I've never used Verizon. A lot of people have told me that that they have used Verizon, T-Mobile, as well as the new AT&T plan with good luck, but some people have also said they've had issues. So honestly, I can't give you an honest opinion on that. Sorry. What are your thoughts on an international data plan with AT&T compared to eSIMs and pocket Wi-Fi's? Again, I I looked at their plans. It looks really good. I just don't know about their connectivity issues. Um, I we personally prefer to always go with the local plans here in Japan and get an eSIM as well as a pocket Wi-Fi. Sorry, I can't give you a better answer than that.
Maybe explain because we're long-term travelers.
Yeah. So we're long-term travelers. We've been out of the United States for many years, and so we don't even use those plans anymore. So for us, we always choose local plans, mainly because we tend to get better service. Because when we're in Japan, we always try to go with and for any country that matter, with a local service, because whenever there's an issue, they tend to understand the issue better and are able to fix it much faster since they're locally based as well. I recently returned from Japan and used Dent Mobile for eSIM and it worked great. Thanks for sharing. There's no shortage of options out there, guys. So we're just giving the ones that we know work really well for us. Any thoughts on Nomad eSIM? I have not tried it. That for $21 for 20 gigs sounds like a pretty good deal. However, I would compare that with using Japan Wireless. They might be cheaper. But again, our preference is always to go with the Japanese companies. And again, the reason why is they're on the ground, they're local. If you need help, you're going to get it pretty quickly because you will be in Japan. They will respond pretty quickly. So because of that, we always go with the local carriers. The only time we use these international eSIM companies are for if we want a global plan, like the one earlier about going to Singapore. Hey, the internationalists, how are you? Okay, after Bali next week, I'll be in Japan until the end of July. Care to meet up for lunch or dinner? Oh, that would have been awesome, except we just we're back here in Malaysia for now. So if you make a U-turn and come back down this way, let us know. I just started researching GoogleFi. Did you just mention that cellular data costs $1 per gigabyte? It's actually 10 gigabytes per usage. So what we use GoogleFi.
Resay it. I think you mixed it. $10 per.
Yes.
Say it.
For GoogleFi, it costs $10 for each gigabyte of data that you use. So if you're going to use GoogleFi, which we still do as well, we only use it to make calls and for texting. We don't use it for the data just because it's expensive. But if you're going for a short trip, using $10 or $20 on that is not bad, as it makes it really easy. Also, we have a referral code for GoogleFi. We're going to put it in the description at the end. If you use it, I think you get $20 off. Yeah, if you keep it for longer than a month, and so do we. So that's a win-win. Okay, what is regular hours for your live Q&A? We don't we don't have regular yet, but we're trying to do them every other week now. And if we do, we would like to keep them at this time, which is Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
No.
Pacific Standard Time. Sorry, we're on the other side of the world, so I get this confused a lot. Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But if you all want to have Q&As at a different time that works better for most people, let us know in the chat so we can think about that, and we can always do a different time if it works better for most people. Okay. How many gigabytes is best for 2 weeks? Only need an eSIM for texting, Facebook, etc. You probably only need between 3 and 10 if that's all you're going to be doing. Where you start using a lot of data is if you are watching or streaming, YouTube, or uploading a lot of photos. Otherwise, you'll be fine with between 3 and 10. After arriving in midnight and stores closed, where can we get eSIMs in the city? If you were arriving after midnight, some 7-Elevens will have them. 7-Elevens, yeah, actually 7-Elevens, the Family Marts too. Those would be your best bets. Otherwise, I would wait till the next day. If you want to get it in Japan, and your best option would be to go to somewhere like a Bic Camera or Yodobashi Camera, they'll have a lot more options if you want to actually purchase them in Japan. Is it better to reserve a pocket Wi-Fi or just pick it up at the airport upon arrival? We recommend that you reserve it in advance because one, it's going to save you a lot of time, and two, you'll have done your research so you can make sure you get the right one for your trip. Do you use a travel router while in a hotel room? We've tried it. We've used it in the past. We don't anymore. If your concerns are, can you tell me what your concerns are about why you would want to use that? Because if you are trying to, if you're using a pocket Wi-Fi or anything like that, you really don't need one. If you're concerned about security, I would recommend using a VPN or a DPN. We can talk about that more if you have more questions on that. But let me know your specific usage of why you would need it. But no, we don't use it anymore. Okay, 6:30 p.m. We'll keep that for now.
Okay, just ask if there's any other questions.
All right. Do we have any other questions?
Explain about the cheat sheet and the links in the description, maybe.
Okay, so for now, there is what we created a cheat sheet that goes over all the details that of all the pocket Wi-Fis and eSIMs we discussed today. So if you have any questions on that, please check that out. And they also have links on them. So let us know. Okay, off-topic question. You can answer that one, Heidi.
No, you're on screen.
Which merino wool company do we recommend? Unbound, especially for men. Recently for women, they've been making a lot of good stuff too. I'm wearing Unbound right now, and I think Heidi is as well. In fact, that is pretty much our main clothes that we wear while we're traveling. So merino wool is great. If you guys aren't familiar with merino wool, it's great for all weather, hot weather, cold weather. And what we really like about it is this dries super fast. So if you need to wash your clothes, it dries super fast and it doesn't smell. Really nice. Okay.
Just ask for topic for next live Q&A.
Okay, hold on. My ordinary Australian number is on eSIM on my phone. Is there a physical option? I do not know. You should check. You should check. If you don't know, look on the side of your phone and see if there's like a little, here, my pocket Wi-Fi has one here, a little slot like this. If it has this right here, then you have a physical SIM as well. If you don't see this anywhere, then you do not have a physical SIM. Yes, we do have an affiliate link for Unbound. We'll put it in the description below.
Just read this and then ask for topic.
I want to say one thing. I went to Japan early this year, and your videos made my trip a lot easier. I was able to plan so many things ahead, and it was awesome. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the comment, and it's good to know. Thank you so much. All right, I think there's another question. Have you decided on the next topic? We haven't decided on that, so let us know in the comments below what you want the next Q&A to be about. Okay, so in general, the other topics that we cover a lot is we cover a lot on transportation. So we did one on transportation a couple of weeks ago. We can do another one if you have specific questions. We're thinking about doing one on IC cards because we're getting a lot of questions about, which IC cards we need, and also about rail passes. There's so many different types of questions out there about rail passes because, with increasing the price of the JR pass, there are a ton of other passes, regional passes, as well as other passes by other companies. So if you're interested in that, let us know too. And also of like places where you want to go, places to stay, things to do for families. We cover pretty much all the topics as far as traveling to Japan. Okay, world schooling with kids. Yeah, we can talk about that too. And also green car, Shinkansen, and or Tokyo subway. Okay, very good, very good. No, we have not gotten into the Pokemon Cafe. We've been trying for almost 2 years now and have not been lucky. There must be some way to be able to hit that button where you try to make your reservation to beat everybody else, because every time we press it, by the time we press it, the server is stalling and we can't get it, and then they're all booked. But can you just walk up to the Kirby Cafe? Probably not, because everything is reserved. So if for some reason that they are completely booked, I mean, they're always booked, but if for some reason they have a lot of cancellations, then yes, they will take you. So it is possible. Just, I can't guarantee you'll get in.
Obviously, we have a video on it.
Yeah, we have a video on that as well. You mentioned earlier that you have a local SIM on your phone and an eSIM when purchased. How did you switch between SIMs? So with this is an eSIM only phone. Now, when you add a SIM, is you just go into your settings and you click on add new SIM. And then when you add it, it's going to ask you which SIM do you want to replace it with. So you don't delete your old SIM. What happens is you start getting a list of all your eSIMs on there. And then when you want to turn one on, you just turn the other one off and it just automatically switches to the one you want to use. So it's actually a really easy process. It can be kind of confusing at first if you've never done it before, but once you've done it a couple of times, it gets pretty easy. And actually, one of our videos shows how to do that process, so you might want to check that out if you have any questions on it.
Just a video topic.
World Expo, yes, we will be covering the World Expo extensively. We are going for sure. So if you're planning on going, you may want to start booking your accommodations as they are booking up really fast. Where's the best place to get IC cards for kids and adults right now? So if you are a short-term traveler, just get them at the airport. You can purchase the Welcome Suica, right? Welcome Suica Child IC card right at the airport from the vending machine. Otherwise, just go to any major train stations and you can get a regular Child Suica if you want to keep using it over a period of time. Will any power bank work with any of the Wi-Fi modules? Probably. We haven't had any issues. We have 3 different ones that we're using, and we haven't had any problems. So yeah, probably. Will we do a Q&A on Malaysia? I would like info on university and secondary school in mainland Malaysia. We might do one on Malaysia, but that would be on a separate channel that we're probably going to move all of our nomad type content onto there since it's kind of off topic now. So yes, maybe in the future. Okay. I think that's it. So again, if there's any additional questions after the live, just go ahead and leave them in the comments below and we will answer them later. Otherwise, we will see you in the next live. We will try to plan one in the next couple of weeks. You want anything else?
Just refer to other videos too.
Yeah. If you need more information on eSIMs, we have 3 other videos. We have one that goes over the details of choosing between a pocket Wi-Fi SIM and eSIM. It's still very relevant, even though it was released a year ago. We have one specifically on international eSIMs and also one on pocket Wi-Fis. And I'm going to be making a couple of new videos going over some new eSIM options as I've tested these more thoroughly as well. And also, if you need any other information on other videos, such as train passes or what was the other one? Money options. We have a lot of recent good videos on that. Okay. Thanks for joining us, everybody. See you in the next one.